Hi, everybody. Mr. Gowerluck here. We're going to talk about environments today, our first science lesson. And so I'm going to share my screen with you to talk about what we're going to be doing here um, this fall when we're learning about environments. Do you know what an environment is? Do you have an idea of where you've heard that word before? Is it something that's new? Well, welcome to your school environment. We're here at school to learn and do our very best. And that is part of what we do at Franklin. I guess you'd have a home environment as well. Can you think of some other types of environments you might have? I don't know, for me, my tap dance environment, when I'm going to learn new things with my harmonica, or when, I'm sorry, I can't be as sarcastic as I want to be. You kids don't know me yet. So, anyway, I'm going to move on to the next slide. Oh my gosh, what is that? What are we going to be doing when we're learning about environments? All good science experiments, start with some sort of question. If you think back to how things are invented, you weren't around, either was I, but maybe Ms. Barrett was when cars were first invented back in the early 1900s. People wanted to go from place to place faster than what they were doing on their horses. And their horses would get tired or they'd get injured or their wagon wheels would break. And people were like, boy, I'd like to be able to go somewhere that was a little more reliable. So the car was invented. And before a car could be invented, they had to think of what a motor could do or invent some sort of motor, some sort of device that would move something with gears and cranks and all that kind of thing. Well, anyway, we're going to think a lot simpler than that. All good science experiments start with those questions, and they pose different types of things that help us understand our environment around us. So what we're going to be doing is taking seeds or dirt, water, live creatures like maybe what you see on your screen, sunlight, air, all that stuff. We're going to put everything together, kind of mix it together and see what we come up with. And we might be creating our own environment. Well, I'd be creating an environment. You'd watch me do that. Kind of sad, I know, but we'll do our best with it. There's a lot you're going to need to know. Environmental factors, how humans change things. And I'm sorry if I'm reading all this to you, but it's important information, and we want to make sure that you have a good understanding of it. The word ecosystem is something that you'll hear about. It's a community of living things, and we're a part of an ecosystem, a community of living things, together within an environment. All organisms, and yes, you're an organism, I'm an organism, we're all living organisms until I put you to sleep, and then you're sleeping organisms with how this goes. But all organisms have specific requirements for successful growth, development, and reproduction. And organisms are found in environments that provide them with suitable living conditions. The dinosaurs couldn't find suitable living conditions. And you may have information as to how that happened. Well, I'm kind of glad because I'm outside recording right now. And if I were to see a dinosaur, I would be pretty freaked out. So I'm pretty, maybe kind of glad that they aren't around right now. Plus, I've seen the Jurassic Park movies. That always gives me a little run there. Seeds are living organisms, but they're in a dormant stage. They want to be alive, I think, if you were to ask them. But then how would you communicate with them? But seeds are living organisms, and there are different types of environments. We're in our own environment in school. And like I said before, you have a home environment, but what if you were out in the middle of the desert? What if you're in the ocean or on a lake? Are those different types of environments? Living things are suited for and dependent upon factors within their home environment. So everything kind of has this home environment. Well, in order for that organism to thrive and survive, they're dependent on certain things that need to be there. For us, I don't know, it's this whole oxygen thing. We need that. We like food. If someone says, hey, you want some food? Most people will say, sure. What kind of food do you have? And then they'll say, Twinkies. Oh, I like Twinkies. Or burgers. I like burgers. Or corn on the cob. Yum. Or taco. It's taco night. Or it's You name pizza time, you name it. People depend on those things to survive. And then there's a scientific process that we're going to discuss about observing and then communicating some observations, comparing what we might see at one time versus another, organizing, and then relating to our own existence to make sense of the understanding. And then there's a natural system that consists of many organisms interacting, and we are all organisms that are interacting, and hopefully we all get along. But one experiment could be is what would it take for us not to get along, or what are some things we need to do in order for everyone to get along, and what does getting along look like? I could go on and on. Advantage, beneficial, biome. Those are three big words that you're going to want to learn. An advantage, I'm sure you've heard many times, gives you some sort of benefit that you gain. And beneficial, it's a favorable effect. But a biome, that's probably new for almost everybody. I had to look it up too. Thank goodness for Google, right? But a biome is a large community of plants and animals that occupy a distinct region. So, a distinct region. Think of Franklin Elementary. Types of plants and animals occupy our distinct region. Well, I think there's a human or two or 100 or 200 that occupy this distinct region. As I look around, I see grass. There's other things. I saw a squirrel earlier, and I saw another squirrel going to kind of chase after it and fight it. But those are all parts of the biome, plants and animals that occupy a distinct region. A catastrophic event, an event that brings great harm, great suffering, or loss. It's really kind of a sad deal, obviously. And yet, I got to keep from kind of smiling a little bit because it's a new word and I'm in a weird mood right now. But catastrophic event obviously brings harm. It could be a hurricane, could be, I don't know, you name it, something just really bad. Could be natural, could be man-made. Controlled experiment. That's an experiment in which one and only one variable is changed in order to measure an effect. So you have a classroom full of kids. One variable that could change things could be smell, could be something you hear, could be something you see happen. It could be light, darkness, could be something with the floor. I don't know, you name a variable. That's something that you could have a controlled experiment with. Oh my goodness, look at all these words. We're just going to glance at them. But consumers and decomposers. Consumers eat other things. Decomposers feed on dead things and rotting things and get rid of them. And then, you have other types of things that will producers. Producers make their own food and they provide food for other things. So consumers will eat producers. Producers might have some leftover parts of them left where decomposers will come in and finish off the rest. A consumer might get eaten by another consumer. Truck just went by. And when that consumer has died at the hands or the paws of another consumer, then something comes along that might decompose it. I bet you can think of what those things might be. Garden, invasive, natural system, niche. The role an animal plays in its habitat, a niche. Wolves play an important role in their habitat. They control things. They're kind of that top animal. Prairie, pollution, wetland. So, are there some things you could do at home that would help you with, getting a better understanding of what an environment is? Well, sure, you could visit a nature center, or you could walk in a park, record some notes, looking for changes. This season, fall is coming upon us very soon, and this is a great time of year to look for changes. You can see changes all around you. You can observe nature in your own backyard, keep a science log, or start a bug collection. Everybody likes to eat at night and have a little snack here and there. That sounds like fun. Oh, hold on. The insect collection would be to observe changes, not to snack on. That's right. What am I thinking? Oh my goodness. Watch out for whatever this thing is. So We don't want to put that in a jar. Anyway, that's what I have for you for lesson 1. And I hope that you're thinking about some of those words, producers and consumers, and thinking about what an environment is, and that there's a variable that can affect things, that you have the ability to help things get along within your environment, but also, individuals could take it upon themselves to make it difficult for things to get along and function well. So, all good science experiments start with a question. And think of some of those questions that you can pose and you can help me with in our discussion when we move ahead in our environments unit. Thanks for the time. And this was Mr. G signing off.